welcome to Bloody Vibe Union Podcast, episode 66.
Oh, just off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I knew that.
Yeah.
It's one more away from being, one more number. No, it doesn't make any sense. I was going to do something about the 666, but I couldn't piece it together.
We've only got, how many, what's 66 minus 666?
This is the Vibe Union Podcast where we talk about creativity and the scene and what have you. It's chaotic. I'm Rye.
I'm Jason.
Excellent.
Yes. Before we get started, though, I just wanted to acknowledge the custodians of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We need to understand and learn and acknowledge that we are, conducting ourselves on stolen land. When sovereignty was never ceded and treaties were never been signed. Say every podcast, we are very privileged to be able to come here, do a podcast, and be here, do other events that Vibe Union does, and be able to share our voices and have other people share their voices when so many First Nations people have had their voice silenced throughout history and to this day as well. Things are looking up a little bit. We've got the voice referendum coming into Parliament soon, and votes, and then mail voting and stuff. But that's anyway. And I also wanted to acknowledge the Palawa people of Lutruwita, which is the First Nations people of Tasmania, where I unfortunately grew up. All right.
Speaking of providing voices to some people, which is what we like to do.
Oh, segue.
We are here at Radio Bar, where we do Radio Talk, our poetry night. Oh, it's very exciting. It's the longest running event that we've been doing, and maybe the most consistent poetry night.
It is the most consistent
in the Melbourne scene.
It is. We have never missed a night in over 2 years.
Even when we were locked down, we didn't miss a night. We didn't do it illegally, though we wanted to, and we tried.
We were in the online spaces and the World Wide Webs.
That was cool. I enjoyed the online. I enjoyed the live gigs because it provided one thing that live, real, in flesh and blood venues can't provide, which is live chatter on the side. Like, people were in the comment sections talking to each other and providing feedback on the performances. There was little in-jokes. There was some in-fighting amongst certain people, which was interesting. We had to go off. It was good having a lot of us so we could go off into separate rooms, digital rooms, and talk to people about, now what's happening? What's going on?
Excuse me.
Why are you fighting with people?
So we had a couple of people from regional Victoria that signed up. We had
international.
A friend of a friend from
someone from
Hungary.
Greece.
Hungary, yes.
Greece and Hungary, aren't they the same country?
Oh.
I don't know anything about either.
Okay, Rye said it, not me. Remember when you come for Vibe Union, Rye said that.
I'm just bad at geography.
Yeah. Two different countries.
Great.
Yeah, one's called Hungary.
Now I know that.
That was kind of good fun.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't want to go back. No,
it wasn't. That's kind of where the joke, my carrot shtick came from.
Yeah.
If all the four or five people that know, that was every one of my microphones was a vegetable every time I emceed.
It was a great bit.
Except one time where I had an actual microphone for a DSLR camera, and everyone thought it was a sexual aid. Because all the comments were like, "Jason, what is that? What? No, you don't." I'm like, it was just an actual microphone. It was and I was like, okay. And then I looked at. And then the next time I did it, I got an actual aubergine.
A what?
An aubergine?
What's that?
Eggplant.
Oh, eggplant.
For fuck's sake.
Okay, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know countries, and I don't know plants. I don't know vegetables.
It's a vegetable.
When this releases, we are also coming up into the third Project Legacy, which is happening at 30 Dirk. It is our hip-hop and R&B showcase.
Yes, showcase.
Of incredible hip-hop talent.
Showcases.
Showcases. We are the showcasers, and we shall showcase their talents. It's going to be great. So if you're tuning into this when it drops, my God. Monday. It's on Thursday at 30 Dirk. Check it out on our website, vibeunion.com.au. I'm in podcast mode, as you can tell.
I can tell. You're very... Oh.
This is good.
Face the other way, Paul.
Can we face the camera? There we go.
There we go.
Beautiful. What's the dog's name?
Buddha.
Fantastic.
This is Buddha, everyone. We've got our thumbnail.
100%. So that's...
Puppy power. Yep.
Puppy power.
Thank you, Paul. And Buddha. There you go. So yes, Project Legacy next Thursday on what date is that?
15th of June.
15th of June, yes.
15th of June.
And if you listen to this after that, don't come to the 15th.
It'll be back. It'll be back.
But don't come. Don't go to the 15th one because you can't.
That's enough updates. Jason, who is here?
Hello. This is, I don't know what this was. Hello. I am me.
Jason, you wrote a blog post. We've been writing a blog post recently.
Yes. And you're here too, by the way.
I'm here too.
Right here too.
I'm also
yes,
here.
I have been writing a blog. Well, we have.
We have, yeah.
Not together, separate blogs.
Were you nervous to write? So this is like because this is the first. So yeah, you did the first one, which is just a bit of a recap of where Vibe Union's at.
Yes.
Second one, I did a bit more of a think piece.
Yes.
God forbid, a person who has no real credentials
My
doing
piece
a
has
think piece.
definitely got thoughted.
I was nervous as hell.
Really?
I'll talk about shit on podcasts and what have you when I'm running my mouth, but to write it down, I read back over a few times. I had to get Kelsey to read it back over and say, "Is this terribly wank? Is this not worth putting?"
So you were more worried about how it sounded, not as in like poorly written, but just like it was too much for like. If that makes sense, like
I think to put thoughts down in that way about something. Well, I guess it's kind of funny because the topic was leaning into speaking with your own voice and talking about topics that make sense to you.
Yes.
And then, funnily enough, for that blog post.
Hello, Buddha. Sorry.
For that blog post was the one where I freaked out about like, is this content worth putting out?
Yeah.
This is not what we're talking about, but I just thought, did you have any reservations putting out your piece for this one?
No, I tuned in. I tuned into some already pre-existing thoughts and opinions, which I'm sure everyone knows now because I've read it. But yeah, no, no, I wasn't nervous. It was I'm more nervous trying to get it out within a week.
Sure.
Because I'll start writing, then I'll be like, is that really what I want? And then I kind of have to, and then it's like Sunday night, I'm like, okay, no, I actually have to. There's more time frame than, I mean, the topic is like, I said, it's all there in writing. So for me, actually writing it down is easier because of the neurodiversity. And so if someone wants to not have it like discuss it, I'm like, well, it's already pre-written. So I can, not that I just write things to be provocative, but it is fun. Not that I do much anymore.
We're not very shock jockey though.
I mean, you used to argue with people on Facebook in the.
I did a little bit of that during the pandemic.
Yeah, during the time that,
that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but
I had a few people pile in with me, be like, "No, you know what? We support this guy. We back him up." I was like, "Oh God, that's not what my ego needs."
Yeah, so I try not to comment on people that comment on things that I put on Facebook.
Yeah, no. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. In science, this is something.
Yeah,
shouldn't have brought that up.
We've got our first beef. We're not going to go into it, but
the beefy boys.
It feels like we have our first proper beef, and it's fun.
If you're watching, how are you? But no real anxiety about it.
Interesting.
I think it might depend on the topic though. If it was topic was like okay, I don't know. I was going to say medical records. I'm like, why would we want to talk about that? Please, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
very particular. Like
you could have you reached in and that's what you pulled out.
It's like my doctor. I don't know.
What is this, Jason?
It's my hopes and dreams. No, yeah. Anyway, so yes, the topic obviously was about determination and like, are you determined enough? And is
dedicated enough?
Dedicated, dedication, determination. Are they?
I think same, but
they're siblings.
Slightly different.
They're I don't know. They're alliteration.
Yeah.
Determined. Yes, determined enough.
To be an artist.
But then I guess that the determined works into dedication as well.
Yes.
Because you get it. Yes. Did you say that?
Yeah, essentially. I'm just adding a little sprinkle.
So I just forgot you were there. I was just going on the riff now. Hello, this is Rye.
Yeah.
He's here too.
Neurodiversity.
And I'm here too. I'm Jason. No. So, I mean, you read it too. I've talked for a while.
Yes.
Would you like to, I don't know, what did you think about it?
it's a topic that I think about a lot. Is being dedicated to one's craft, but in a specifically, you're talking about like, the work ethic kind of side of it, and like really dedicating your entire existence almost to being this thing. I don't know. What I have thoughts, but I think I don't know how I want to phrase it. So I'll ask you this question: Is do you feel dedicated to your craft? Is that is a big part of you?
Sorry, beer and podcast again. Deeds Brewing. No. Do I feel dedicated? I think so. I think my personal endeavors, yes, but like I'm limited on what I can do in my personal endeavors because I don't know how to. I don't have record. Like if I want to record music, I can't because I don't have the equipment nor the space.
Just come
to
to this guy.
But that's the thing. Yeah, so you kind of have.
Big cheese.
For me. Yeah.
I call myself the big,
the big cheese
when it comes to recording.
The big beefy cheesy boy. Yeah. So for me, means I'd said it in the blog as well. Like, for me, like the EP that I did last year was through a grant that I got because I don't have the money to. And I had like an EP launch with Dilly Dave, the Milky Bar kid. I think, and I was able to pay everyone to. I bankrolled the whole thing, and it was really nice. But to do it as a smaller artist or basically an unknown artist, no pun intended. Kind of thing. So it kind of hinders the what's the word? Not determination. Determination?
I guess the actual ability to manifest your vision into reality is hindered by monetary factors and accessibility factors. Also, just number factors. I mean, this is. I'm going to go off on tangents, but this is a podcast. The whole fucking
we
point.
already have already. So
yeah,
why?
we write things down concisely in blog form, and then we ramble on the podcast. I've been thinking about this recently with just Melbourne in general. I've spoken a lot to my brother about this, who's in the jazz scene, and he's spoken to a lot more kind of bigger players, people from like America and stuff like that, coming over here, or has started here and then moved over to America, and have said that it's like Melbourne's fucking hard. Melbourne is hard just because there's just not. Well, first of all, there's just not that many people. There's actually just not that many people. It's a massive city, like physically, it's spread out.
Yeah, okay.
And there's not a lot of people per capita, or right per.
Yeah, okay. What's like 3 million people in Victoria?
So 3 million people, and then you whittle that down to who's interested in music in general, and then who's interested in actually going to smaller events.
And who's capable to get to these events.
Exactly. Like, I was thinking about going to a thing the other night, and I was like, well, realistically, it's going to take me an hour and a half to get there, and then an hour and a half back.
Public transport, right? Yeah.
On public transport, I can't drive, I refuse.
I wasn't going out, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people want to take public transport because they want to have a few
babies, or not spend the price on petrol or what have you, or just
or
owning
Uber.
a car.
Well, they see people, it still costs money, right?
Anyway. But Melbourne is really hard to actually turn your craft into a successful business, which is, I guess, what a lot of what we're talking about. A lot of people are trying to do that, just to be self-sufficient, to turn the thing that you are dedicated to. So we can say to ourselves, we're dedicated to this thing, and you put all this time in, and then you walk away from a thing that you do, and you go, okay, I got $50, $100. Yeah. On a good night, you could, on a huge event, once a year, twice a year, you could walk away with $200 in your pocket.
Yeah, that was what I said. I think that was what I was able to do for mine. Yeah. Everyone got $200 for, which was great. It was lovely. But how often does someone, like, if you're an artist listening, how often does someone's like, someone I've never met, like asking you, I'll give you $200 to come to and perform. Yeah, like it's not I'm not saying like I'm the arbiter of Good Samaritan, but it
was a good little time for us. It was some good grant money kind of flowing around post pandemic. We mentioned it twice in one podcast. Yes, it's not so good. Yeah, the post.
But I talked about it in the blog. To go back to the blog, when we've mentioned it before in another podcast, I'll just keep saying I'll say that all the time. But artists, are like a drop in the ocean. Really, it's. Everyone that wants to be an artist is trying to be an artist. Yeah. Everyone wants to everyone that's dedicating whatever time to it wants it to flower into something. Because you said I don't just do I do more poetry, obviously, because there's more opportunities for me to do that. Because so we've got a.
I think there's more opportunities to do poetry in Melbourne than there is
to
do hip hop. Honestly,
but I think poetry's more. I was gonna say poetry's more accessible, but it depends where you go. There's a couple of places. Anyway, that's a whole other story.
And we're number one. We don't want you. Don't come to our poetry night. We don't like it. We don't like people.
No, please come.
Please come. We need.
But to stop rambling.
It's a podcast.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just keep going. I'll talk slower. No, but and you go down to the perception of other people and what you're doing, being dedicated enough. It's well, if you've got a lot of time, you can crank out a song a day or something like that, or have a poem done a day, or have at least the framework of a song and a hook and a chorus done if you've got 5 days a week spare, so to speak. But it's sort of doesn't work like that, because the outcome is if you don't have the other things backing you, it's it's how am I going to even if I have 7 or 8 songs, I need to be able to find a way to record 7 or 8 songs and then coordinate that with other people and that kind of thing.
I do as a counter. I think especially in this day and age. I want to kind of explore this from a few different angles, because I think it's really something that plagues us all. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of background noise, but there's a lot of background noise for us. But I assume it won't be heard too much in these mics. If it is, Vibe Eating Podcast, it's fucking chaos. Well, there's children and dogs.
Oh, there's children and dogs. Over there. Over there. Children and dogs.
In this day and age, you can do a lot with very, very little. Especially, recording. If you can pull together $100, $200, then you can get a microphone and record enough, record to a degree. But then you still need to learn how to try and mix it to a quality that you're happy with, and mix it to a quality that the audience is happy with, or have a friend who can do it for you and what have you.
That was the whole thing about me with my grant. I could have got the equipment, but then I'm like, I don't have the laptop to do it. And then I'm like, well, I have to get that, and then I don't really have. And then I have to get the programs, and that's fine. But then I'd have to get the setup, and I'd have to find somewhere to set it up, and then I'd also have to learn how to do it, and I just don't like.
I think a lot of it is all very doable, but it depends on a few different factors for each person. For each person in general. Well, just. But the counter. So that's my counter to that, to what you're saying. But my counter to my counter, because I wanted to put out, because I'm someone who, I've got a lot of people who say to me, how do you do all that you do? Because I do. This is not flexing, because I'll give my argument about this. I do a lot of different stuff. I run Vibe Union, and I do all my own art, and I play in a few bands, and I paint little miniatures and what have you. And people say, how do you do all of that stuff? And I just have time. I have shitloads of time. I am very fortunate that I only have to work. Hey, I'm very fortunate. I only have to work 2 days a week, which I live very cheaply, and I'm good at doing that. But I have support from some incredible people that I know that I don't need a lot of savings to survive. And so that's kind of my argument, is I just have a shitload of time, which is what you were saying. And so that's my. So my counter to my counter is there's a lot of people who it's very libertarian kind of bullshit we were talking about on the tram here, that people act as if you need to work, you need to dedicate your entire existence to do this thing, right? But and stop complaining, stop whining about it. You just need to get on with the work. But a lot of people who do this, not everyone, but a lot of people who do that are, if I was saying that to you, or saying that to, actually, maybe if I was saying that to someone who's working a full-time job, you need to do as much as I'm doing. Yeah. It's you're working 3 extra full days a week, and that's not, and 5 days to 2 days is not just 3 extra days. It's a level of exhaustion that I could never hit. I can never hit. That's
even on the blog and stuff, talking about feeding algorithm stuff. Even if you're working, part time, or full time, the idea of posting every day, doing stories. We've touched on this before. Doing 6 stories a day, interact with everyone. Like if if you've got a few more, obviously if you're posting every day, people are going to interact with your stuff or comment or like, and then you have to interact with those people. If you're working full time or part time, you come home. If you're working 9 to 5, not everyone does. Shift work is also a thing. People forget that shift work is a thing.
Yeah.
So if you're working overnight stuff, the last thing you want to do if you're doing a night shift is get up if you get home at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Last thing you want to do is fall asleep for a few hours, get up and like, all right, I'm going to smash out this. Some people can do it.
Yeah.
MC nurse. As a joke, I don't know.
Okay.
It was a shift
I
work.
see.
Yeah,
right. She's a nurse, and then
she's an MC as well.
Oh god.
They,
I'm really showing my bigotry today.
It was a poorly attempted joke. Anyway, yeah. So, but some people.
I was the butt of it in the end.
But yeah, some people can work enough hours, and then because they might have to set up at home and like, okay, cool. I'm gonna same as some people go to the gym straight after work, which is because if you're still in kind of work mode, you might as well use adrenaline in a way. I'm just countering my points now. But yeah, sometimes even if you've got no time, you just want to wake up. You're like, I want to just go out for a walk and chill, and I don't want to have to utilize my brain at all.
Yeah.
I want to be a big bowl of soup and watch movies all day.
Yeah.
And just not having to navigate my brain to try to force myself to do something creative. And then when you spend 8 hours looking at a screen having one line written, you're like, well, I could have been doing something enjoyable instead of forcing lyrics or a poem or something out.
I mean, I believe strongly in like trying to create a habit of being creative if you want to do it all the time.
In any way, or like in certain specific ways?
I think like the example of like writing a song when people get like into really heavy writer's block, like I just can't write any more stuff. It's like, I think you just need to get into the habit of just writing music essentially, just like try and get, because it's a mental block rather than anything kind of deeper, I think. So you can kind of get into the habit of just writing stuff down and go like, right, that was shit, and then you move on.
Yeah.
And that will usually generate something usable at some point, and you'll feel better. But this idea of like creativity, and I'm fucking terrible at this, at not doing this. I definitely turn creativity into work way too often for myself. My brain certainly suffers from it. But there's so much of that pressure. And I was watching a video the other day about lazy. About lazy.
I heard that one.
Yeah, I think that would have popped up. Anyway. The laziness is seen as such a a sin. Sloth is a sin.
Sloth.
And if you're not working in your craft, you are seen as lazy, that you're not putting in this time.
Yeah.
But certain brains just don't work like that. I mean, even for me, I struggle to go from admin mode. If I'm doing invoices and doing the processing emails for the sign-up sheets for the poetry night.
Yeah.
And then I flip over and I'm like, it's time to be creative now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nah. And if I'm at work and then I get home after a day of being on my feet, I mean, and also like shout out to hospital workers, if you're on your feet for 8 hours straight and then you get home like, oh, time to make some music.
Yeah.
That can be a real fucking struggle to find that energy.
Oh, yeah.
That's just not how. You're right.
Yeah, so some people able to do it, but it comes down to your mental makeup, your neuro makeup. It's sort of introverts versus extroverts.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that before, also on the tram.
Shout out to trams.
Shout out to tram.
Big tram fans.
We should do a tram podcast.
I would love to do a tram podcast.
Just sit in the tram.
If we picked like just some quiet lines at like a good time of the day, we could just ride trains and trams.
My line's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, we're distracted by dogs and children and balloons. Oh my.
I really don't like balloons.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
But yeah, it sort of comes up to your how your brain works, and some people just love just the grind and hustling and that kind of thing. You see all those goes down like the crypto bros and all the.
Yeah.
I think was his name Gary V. He was like, oh, I just swallow my
He's
I swallow my gum.
perfect
I
fucking
swallow my
example of what I
gum
was talking
because I
about.
don't have time to spit in the bin like every minute. And there was a one.
That's insane.
And there was a hello. There was a guy, I don't know who his name is, but he was like,
Yeah.
oh, I split my days into. I have 3 days in one day.
Yeah.
I get up at 6 and I do stuff until 10. That's 4 hours. That's one day. I go from 10 till 2. That's another day. He's
Jesus
clearly
Christ.
all the comments were like, he's clearly on cocaine.
Yeah.
But that kind of concept is like, well, there's always time in the day. I was like, but also yes, there's also time in the day to hate everything and just want to just not do anything because sometimes you just go,
Gary Vee's a fucking perfect example of that attitude of like, you're not successful in business because you didn't work hard enough. It's not because there's only a finite amount of customers, only a finite amount of money.
And
There's
also
only
he's a Nepo baby.
And
So
also, what was it, Nepo?
Nepo baby.
Yeah, Nepo baby. Which any single person that is telling you you need to work harder on your business, it's an almost guaranteed that they got a company given to them by their father or
mother.
some. Well, in the society,
You're a bigot. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that.
no,
yeah.
in this particular case, I think I'm being quite. Generally speaking, the wealth is
Parents.
passed down through the men, which needs to change. You know what I'm saying?
So there we go.
You see what I'm saying?
There we go. He's
I
reeling it back.
I brought it
in.
around. I brought it
Yes. So-
around. And I think the same thing with to bring it back to the Melbourne thing. Like, you just need to hustle. It's like there's so few people in Melbourne we can't all be fighting over the same audience. We do need to a degree, but like. There's actually only so much going around. And if you were to come down, I think the main point is like, if you're coming down on yourself, like, I'm not working hard enough. That's why I'm not good. That's not why, because you see yourself as not a successful artist, which also then in your brain translates to, am I a bad artist? It's like, there's only so much you can do.
And then like, we've touched on it before once again, but we've moved all our gigs to weekdays. I mean, poetry's always been Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. And then we had, Project Legacy, which is next week, June 15th. Thursday. No, we've moved on to Thursday because we're not going to be able to compete with the vast amount of gigs that happen on Friday and Saturday night, even Sunday night.
Yeah. There's shows at Rod Laver Arena.
Yeah, we're not going to compete
shows.
With I don't know whoever's at Rod Laver.
International acts, like international acts coming up.
Even other venues with bigger names that we'd love to have.
Yeah.
But there's no point. Eventually, you're going to have to realize that there's no point in competing. You have to switch the direction you're going. So because otherwise, if we were just going
until you get there,
if we're going same as like. If we're going to slog every weekend to have like a rap hip hop night, slog every weekend, every say month or 2 months to have this gig and slog and try our hardest to have all the big crowds, they're not coming to 4 local Melbourne artists.
Yeah.
Well, some will, because some people really love that and enjoy that.
Yeah.
But they're going to go, oh, there's another gig of a bigger artist down the road or something. They're going to go there.
We've actually had that. This is a little while. It's like a year back, but there was actually a hip hop night that we did, and there was another one got announced like 2 days earlier, and I was like, that's all. I know all the artists on that lineup.
Yeah,
that is our entire crowd.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
So we actually postponed it. We actually postponed our gig by a month.
That's right. Yeah, I remember
to
that.
move around that gig. It's just like we can't compete with it's not like their events is better, but it's just like
it's people get burned out. Like they're not going to. They don't want to go to 3 shows. Same as so last poetry night that we had, it was a smaller crowd. But the night before they had Slammer Lammer Ding Dong, shout Slammer.
True.
So
that
the night
makes
before
sense.
there was a big crowd because it's a competition. It's well known, big names, been
Yeah.
going for a long time. And so there was a couple people there from the crowd wise that's coming. And they like, oh, I went last time, and I was like, yeah, I remember you, blah blah blah. And so that people are like, well, we don't want to come out again to an open like.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until a couple of days later. I'm like, oh yeah, people aren't coming out to 3 poetry nights a week. So if there's, it's sometimes it's just not, we're not going to change the day of poetry, but it's just got to have to, what's the word? Manage your expectations about, which, I just want to be, I don't want to really be famous. I just want to have the money of famous people.
I just want enough to do more bigger stuff.
Live comfortably, yeah. Like,
Well, yeah, live comfortably.
no,
and
that's
just
the
be
thing.
like,
So
pour
someone
money
says,
into
"What do you
art."
do?" And you're like, "Oh, well, I work for Vibe Union."
Yeah.
And then what do they do? Oh, well, we put on events, and that's it.
No, fucking cool
You know,
thing to say.
yeah, we'd like to have,
Yeah.
we'd love to have some more people on board and helping us
Yeah.
out. But it's it's a hard
Yeah.
sell when you're like, do you want to work in a make
Yeah.
everything look very professional, but not getting professional wages? So
I think I want to not end, but like maybe just tie up. Add another caveat to this. I think I said before as well, though, that
Yes.
because I feel like these we have these discussions because I think we have gone into the headspace where we have really high expectations and we really try and go hard on certain things, be it personal, creative projects, or as Vibe Union or what have you. And there'll be moments when you're like, well, yeah, we've failed because we're not successful enough.
yeah,
And it's not about when we say lower expectations, it's not about like you're never going to bloody make it,
yeah,
but rather a lot of people who are feeding you the information about why you're failing are usually coming at it from the wrong place, at least in our opinion.
yeah.
We live in, dare I say it, a capitalist society that does not
It's
actually...
like neo-capitalism, isn't it?
Neo-capitalist society that does not give a shit about the arts.
It's we do trickle-down poetry.
Trickle down.
Yeah, they don't. The gig, the gig economy and stuff. It's not
Yeah.
designed to be. It's designed to just nepotism and well, even if winners on TV. Not to get into this whole anti-capitalist stuff, even though it's probably good to have. Small,
I think we can say
small,
the Vibe Union is anti-capitalist. I don't give
but
a
yeah,
shit.
not to go into like Occupy Wall Street state of mind, but like even people that win stuff on X Factor
Yeah.
and all that shows, they're still stuck making money for that show.
Yeah, sure.
Before they look at Casey Donovan, she was the second ever winner of Australian Idol.
Yeah.
And because you have to make, I think it was you had to make $1 million for Simon Cowell or the show before you could do your own endeavors. Before
What?
you could, so you had to sell your first album and stuff. You had to make them $1 million before you could go out and make a solo album on your own.
Right.
Or something. I might be because Guy Sebastian did it because he was the first one.
Yeah.
And Casey Donovan, amazing voice, but then she dropped off so quick because for some reason it wasn't working out for her, and she couldn't do anything else because she had to make that she had to make the $1 million before
Yeah.
she could go, okay, this is a project I really want to do, or
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. So even people that make it a bit big in these shows are still bound by. I mean, some people have One Direction have. I mean, they're no longer together,
Yeah.
which breaks my heart. Zayn, I don't know. Is that Zayn one?
I don't know
No.
anything about him.
Zayn Malik. That's the only one I know.
Okay, great.
But
Harry's from that, right?
Harry Styles, yes.
He's from that, isn't
oh
he?
yes, stylish Styles.
I like his album cover. I haven't listened to the album, but
I hate One Direction because they ruined Bubba O'Reilly for me. By
Ruined what?
Bubba O'Reilly, the song by The Who. It's one of my favourite songs. Yeah. Anyway,
I thought of Bubble the Bill, the ice cream.
Bubba, B-A-B-A,
Great.
Bubba O'Reilly.
Stay tuned.
They took the intro. If The Who wants to come on, it'd be lovely.
I don't think I want to interview the Who. They just seem like assholes.
I don't know. But yeah, so yeah.
There's outside factors like where there's just so much, I guess there's a difference between working hard on your craft and being dedicated to your craft.
yeah.
Well, there's just different degrees. There's different degrees and different levels, and you can be dedicated so much. But if your art is supposed to function in a market, then there's other factors beyond. Oh, I'm just working hard on my art, and therefore it will succeed. That's insane.
Oh yeah, it said look. Even I'm on TikTok a bit because I post the stuff to Vibe Union's TikTok.
Yeah.
And then just the amount of people that I've never heard of these people, but they've got all their songs on TikTok. Like they have like a minute clip of stuff, and the amount, like even that now, the amount of people that are putting their music on TikTok and just hoping. I mean, it's well produced.
Yeah.
So there's money already behind it. So it's well produced because you can hear it because they're not just in their studio or whatever in their bedroom.
Yeah.
it's not a Justin Bieber situation where he was on YouTube and they found him. But yeah, like so many people are putting their clips of their well-produced, paid-for music on TikTok, and it's just like, well, what hope do other people have that like, you can put your music on TikTok? That's fine, but if you don't have a nice film, a music video to it, no one's going to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would say that we're sounding a little bit
pessimistic about it.
Pessimistic, but also just like old.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Sorry, I was meant to say like it's just the saturation of artists in a space, all trying to clamber up the ladder.
Yeah,
and you've got so many hands trying to get to each rung at the same time.
Yeah, that
one or two people are going to be able to pull themselves up, and the rest have to just wait for space or fall by the wayside. What an analogy!
Because if you like, I'm sure I have done it. I'm sure everyone else has done it. Have watched like how to market your music as an indie artist with no followers, right?
I've seen some stuff, yeah.
And I've seen some shit, mate.
Just pay some people.
The most common comment is obviously like, if you're an artist and you don't have TikTok in this day and age, then you are a fucking idiot. TikTok has been around for so long. TikTok will disappear at some point, as everything does come to an end. And my point is like, not like, yes, you should absolutely be on TikTok. I should be on TikTok, 100%. Like, to market your music in this day and age, yes, you should be on TikTok. It's an obvious...
It's a wise decision to do.
It's a wise decision.
To make.
In terms of the system that we live in, yes. However, in terms of the actual mental side of being a creative, the actual side of like putting your soul down into an art form and then trying to market that to people, I just don't want people to feel bad that they don't have the mental and emotional capability to both make the art and then to put it onto TikTok and like dedicate part of their life to TikTok or whatever. TikTok is an example. I don't give a shit about TikTok. It's fine, whatever. But
just it's basically just putting meat in a grinder and just every day and hoping you make some nice burgers from it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm coming up with all the metaphors and analogies at the moment.
It's huge.
Just it's such a breakthrough for me.
It just doesn't. Yeah. Not one size. It's not one size fits. Emotionally for artists.
Yeah, I think it's not one size fits all, but a lot of people see that it needs to be a one size fits all thing.
Yeah.
Because people go into it like, no, need to do these.
Here's the 7 tips.
Here's the 7 tips of doing stuff. And we see people on Instagram doing it every day. And I'm like,
and guaranteed, like they're going to see some degree of success as well, but it's just the part of your soul that says, I'm not a good artist because I didn't dedicate myself to it. It's like that's two separate skill sets.
My thing is like, I see people doing that, but then you have to back up that dedication with decent to good music.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like you could, I mean, I said
and stylistically current.
Yes,
stylistically current.
People are like, oh well, what's his face? Juice WRLD got discovered through SoundCloud stuff, and then all of a sudden people were putting a ton of quoting this from the blog basically. Once again, and then everyone was putting their stuff on SoundCloud, hoping for the best. Obviously, that's where you got SoundCloud Rapper from.
Yeah.
But worked for.
I'm shocked SoundCloud is still in existence. Like, it's a garbage website. That's just. I just gotta.
So there goes our SoundCloud sponsorship.
I just gotta fuck SoundCloud, man. Just the UI is trash.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't understand.
But yeah, so that was
Bandcamp
one.
All the way, baby.
That was one thing that worked for one person. Then all of a sudden, there's like, no, let's all just go. Let's all just grab onto that, and then saturates it again. So
I mean, that's the classic fucking marketing conundrum. Is like one like meme will happen or a TikTok will take off or what have you, and then every company will say to their marketing department, "Oh, we want that."
Yeah.
It's like, no, that happened. Yeah, no, that's I know. We saw it how we want it. We want it to happen again.
That's just what it is.
Well,
now, I guess,
you can't have it happen again. It doesn't. That's not how that works.
But so we try not to sound like technology and all that kind of stuff. It is. It works. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. If you want to invent something, if you want to invent something, find something that people need that doesn't exist yet, and then that's fine.
I like the idea of like try and use the tool set in a way that makes sense to you.
I say I like if that's all you have is a rudimentary way to put music out, then do that. I did a couple of things. I got you to record some stuff, and then I made.
I'll do again for a minimal fee.
So I think I had a YouTube beat and stuff because I just wanted to do something during lockdowns.
Yeah.
And so then I made a music video. I just put some stuff together, put some effects on it. Near the end, that went out of sync. I don't know why. My laptop didn't like the program I'm using because I don't have a Mac.
It's all part of it.
And I didn't realize, and then I uploaded, and near the end, it was slowly unsyncing. And I don't know why. It's not my. But I was like, it was just something to do, and it was kind of a fun video to do.
Yeah.
And I did another one we had the online open mic at the time. I just went outside.
Was that the creepy one out in the park?
But
that was fun.
So I did one, and I was like, it was during winter, and it was just a bit of fun. I was pretending to be like Jack the Ripper, not Jack the Ripper, Mr. Hyde, Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And so I was in the park where I live, but I was like trying to get like footage of just like my face in the darkness. But I'm realizing it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and there's like women walking past, and there's this creepy guy just like filming stuff in a mask and a hat and a big coat. So I was like, probably should wrap this up quick before the cops get called. But and now realizing, just have some fun sometimes. And like, this isn't that good. But it's just, I spent some time on it. It's not going to be, I'm not going to present this anywhere. Bit of fun, make a music
kind of
video.
The fun side of like,
I forgot about that. That made me feel a lot better. I forgot about doing that. Yeah.
There you go.
Just do that shit. Forget everything I've just said and just do that. Have some fun and just go out there and just enjoy life. Just be positive with everything you do.
To a degree, I agree.
I know. I just went. Was that dopamine?
I think that was dopamine.
That was dopamine.
I think that was dopamine.
And now it's gone.
Oh no! And the only way to get Jason's dopamine back is to donate to our Patreon.
Yes. Money makes Jason happy.
I think we'll wrap it up there. I think I think we've really convoluted this point, but I think that's because it is a convoluted point because like you do want to dedicate yourself to your art, but you also need to just not be that hard on yourself because it sounds so fucking wank, but I'm actually going to shout out Toomey the Bee because he said at his poetry performance at Slammer,
his feature, yes,
being an artist is hard, and to have people say it out loud is actually really good to hear for me because you think like, oh, I'm just making art, and that's like, that this is just fun, but you're bombarded constantly with like, why aren't you successful already? It's because you haven't got your TikTok fucking
how much money have you made of this? Why aren't you doing? Why don't you work more? Why isn't
create something that didn't exist and now does because of you and you being the sole creative force behind it is hard to find that drive.
Find some people that actually was like helping you out and want to support you.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Come to Vibe Union gigs. We'll help you.
Yeah, we'll help the fuck out of you.
Yeah, okay.
On that note,
let's wrap it up. Hey, if you enjoy this content, we do have a Patreon. The skinny is that there's some costs involved in running this thing. It's got the Vibe Union website. We pay for some Google Drive, hard drive space and whatnot. Hard drive space,
meth addiction.
Cloud storage, marketing. People on the cameras, not this camera. But they're taking photos at gigs.
Photographer cameras.
We'd like to pay everyone, all the artists and everyone, just a bit more money as well. So any cash, if you want to drop it our way, it goes to artists that we work with. Otherwise,
Music's by sixpence.
Music by sixpence. This has been the Vibe Union podcast.
Have a lovely evening.
Great.
Day, night, whatever.
There was a dog at the start. Do you like that?